All right. The next thing that I want to present to you is the idea that we want to be able to change the ADSR envelope of any sound that we're creating. And this gets into like a more complex theoretical idea. ADSR envelope: attack, decay, sustain, release. ADSR is one of the principal ways in which we identify what kind of sound we're listening to. Different kinds of instruments, different kinds of sounds, musical sounds, actually different kinds of sounds in nature everywhere, but we're specifically concerned with musical sounds, have different attack, decay, sustain, release parameters, and this is how we identify them. The attack of a percussion sound and the decay of the percussion sound is much different than the attack, decay, sustain, release of a violin or flute. And a violin and a flute are different. The difference between a trumpet and a flute are different. By controlling these parameters, we're able to make a sound function like different kinds of instruments. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to put an additional modifier between our oscillator and our initial gain control that's essentially an additional gain control. and part of this is because one of the easiest ways to control attack, decay, sustain, and release is by quickly affecting level or gain. And so we're going to do N for a new patch, or a new object rather, and I'm going to do an asterisk and a tilde, and that's just going to allow us to combine these signals. And I'm specifically going to put in right now 0.02. There's no huge reason for this other than I don't want the total output to be overwhelmed. I'm going to delete this patch cable and tie these two together this way. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set up a, again, I'm hitting N to create a new object, and I'm going to create a line object. What this is going to do is enable me to control the shape of this output by simply drawing a line. So I'm plugging that. It may seem counterintuitive for this to be output to this input, because it looked like I was doing output to input, but it was the other way around. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a function. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this by way of being able to see how that functions in line format. Do you see that that says line format? And then, oh, it's super complicated. I'm going to create a button, and this button is going to trigger whatever I draw into that line format. Now, I have to lock it so that I can actually get into this function and draw in a line. So I'm going to do a quick attack, short decay, long sustain, and short release. This is the ADSR envelope of a brass instrument. Probably won't sound too much like a brass instrument when I play it back to you because it's just a sine wave, and brass instruments have many harmonics, many overtones, which makes them sound complicated. The ADSR envelope is only one of a handful of different parameters that indicate to our ears what kind of instrument we're hearing. So, got to turn it on, got to turn it up. I don't hear anything. Well, the reason I don't hear anything is because the reason this button is here is to trigger all of this to work. I'm going to turn up that attack, turn down the sustain. All right.